Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, uh, announcing a tool that I have released to the public. Um, this is my stamps portion of my toolkit that I am releasing separately initially. There will eventually be a whole toolkit that'll involve stamps, material, and PCG, but for now, just the stamps. Uh, and I'm going to quickly show off how all of this works. Do note that you need to have the landmass plugin enabled in order to utilize this. But outside of that, everything should work outside of the box. You do need to make sure that the landscape is a perfect square when you are utilizing these stamps. But after that, if you want to, you can export the landscape and then import it somewhere else and add more pieces to it if you want. It's really up to you. But anyways, once you have that plugin, landmass plugin enabled, when you come in here to the landscape mode, and sculpt, and blueprints, come over here. I have the Wonderscape brush blueprint. I'll go ahead and place that in here. There we go. And initially, as you can see, there's nothing there, and that is okay. We come in here, go to the base settings. Right now, there's nothing there. We get into the height maps. You have 2, 4, and 8K. We're going to go ahead and show off 8K on something here. Let's go with this crater. There we go. Ooh. Now, as you can see, we have this lovely, lovely stamp. Obviously, we can move it around, place it where we want. And if you don't want to see all this ugliness, you will need to see it in order to move in order to select the stamp out, unless you want to select it here in the outliner. But if you don't want to see it, right here you have the stamp helpers visible. Now you can't see it. Something to note, if you make this landscape here, which is a 4033 by 4033, and you decide to, when you're making the landscape, you decide to go 200 by 200 by, this can be whatever it wants, but 200 by 200, then that means that this needs to be 200 or 300. It needs to match your X and Y. So then obviously you get to choose between alpha, min, max, and additive. This is basic from what landmass has available. For the most part, you'll just be using alpha blend and additive. And then in here is the advanced settings. You have height, stamp intensity, clip strength. We'll go over all these right now. So obviously height is pretty self-explanatory. As you can see right now, there is a, let's go towards lighting so you're not seeing a bunch of shadows. A cutoff that we are not seeing. Let me get to it. Right here. Perfectly flat. This happens because it hit the maximum of the Z. So you would need to make the Z higher in order for that to not happen. Obviously for craters, you wouldn't run into that issue, but for mountains, if you're wanting super tall ones, you would. Stamp intensity. As you can see, the blacks are, the grays are either getting blacker or whiter. And then you have cliff strength. As you can see, it's making the cliffs taller and keeping the high points where they're at. So you're getting a more flat surface. Valley cutoff. 1 is going to completely remove it. So 0.1, 0.5. So it's a little similar to the stamp intensity, only instead of making everything sharper, it is just lowering the stamp. do 0.5 here. It's cutting it off. Stamp influence. As you can see, this portion here is getting higher while this portion is getting lower. And then these are just the fall offs to, what's what I'm looking for? To, the fall off is for the fall off with the other stamps. So to show this off a bit more, the differences between 2K, 4K, and 8K, these are just higher resolution but completely identical because they're handmade. There aren't as many nuances and differences. But for the mountains, there will be a difference. Let's go ahead and get a little bit closer here. The 4K, this is mountain 01. There we go. Obvious difference there. Okay, it's mountain 01 underscore 2K, and even more difference. And as you can see, no matter what, it still looks great. If I go and I change the brush size to 2, even a 5, it's still looking fantastic, especially for a 2K stamp. As you can see, here's where the cutoff is happening. So let's change this to a 4. Alright, the last thing I want to show off, because I skipped over them, we just went over brush size but stamp resolution. I'm going to go crazy and do something like 5. Completely reduces the resolution. Just for the heck of it. Now, you may be wondering, well, what happens once I have all these stamps here, but I don't want to continuously move them anymore, or my performance is now going down because I have all these stamps all over my map. What you would do is here in the sculpt, you would just right click, import, export, select export, height map file, export selected layers. You would uncheck that. That way everything you've done will go with you. Choose your spot, name the file whatever you want. As you can see, for my materials, I have one that I've already done. And then you'd hit save, and then you would hit export, and it would export the work for you. And you would have all of the stamps that you've placed into one height map, and you would be able to move it into a different map. Thank you guys for watching, and I will do more tutorial videos as requested for this asset.